It's a whole life tariff, which is the most serious sentence a court can pass. It's certainly the sort of case that shouldn't attract that kind of sentence. This vile perpetrator represents somebody who is truly very dangerous and who has caused untold harm. So, it's the right match of sentence, I think, for the crime. It's a really, really sadistic and misogynistic crime. It clearly, from what I gather, was triggered by his girlfriend trying to separate herself from that relationship. What we know and what we need to keep knowing is how dangerous it can be for a woman to leave an abusive relationship, and we need better understanding of that. But she obviously tried to do it in as gentle a way as possible, but this man was so fueled by hatred of women and a sense of his own entitlement that he was prepared to commit the ultimate act of revenge, and not only upon her, but also on her family. So, what this tells us is that the level of misogyny that is in our society, and that is being fueled by the likes of Andrew Tate, whose videos he was watching, only goes to fuel up in men who are possibly, so minded, the idea that they can commit such horrendous crimes. So I think it tells us a lot about, why we have to really, really fight to combat the kind of messaging that comes out and that gives, so many young men this feeling that women are chattel, that they're there to be used, and a hatred towards them that leads some men to commit these acts of violence. It was only last week that we saw the publication of the femicide census, which has been going for the last 15 years or so. There's now been 2,000 deaths recorded. The vast majority are murders by men in relationships with or family members of the women who have been killed. And on average, one woman every 3 days is murdered in this way. This is a very, very serious crisis. It needs a lot of resourcing and tackling on every level in the criminal justice system, but also in tackling the wider messaging that's coming from men like Andrew Tate and others who feel it's fine just to sow utter hatred towards women. This has to be done at every level, right from very young age. It's not simply enough to sort of teach men about behaving well. Their sense of entitlement that has been sown by this has to be challenged, and there has to be held to account. And we need to find ways to challenge the likes of men like Tate, who spread this misogynistic propaganda as well. But criminal justice system has to be much more effective in intervening to prevent violence against women at earlier stages as well. Well, the government, have this very bold ambition about halving violence against women and girls in a decade. As yet, they seem to be very slow off the mark, so I'd like to see them go much harder. And obviously there are competing cries on resources at the moment that this must not just drop to the bottom because of other things going on. The resourcing of support for women through the voluntary sector as well as through the criminal justice sector, has to be provided, and we have to have much more effective policing and prosecution and court system than we currently have. It's all too often that we are asked to comment on yet another appalling case like this one today, and clearly that is because we exist to challenge injustice in the state, and that's not being, the state is not doing the job that it ought to be doing. So, as long as it's not, we will exist to challenge the failures that exist. Well, there's a whole range of different things that I think the government needs to do. I mean, our focus is specifically on the criminal justice side, and we want to see a justice system working much more focused on preventing and protecting women and girls from male violence, and using the resources that are inevitably limited in the most intelligent way, and focusing particularly on those that present the greatest risk.